So good morning dear students of class 10. Once again let's continue with the trial scene of the Merchant of Venice, which we were doing in our previous video tutorial. Please take out your textbooks and get ready for today's class. Let's continue from where we had left off in our previous class. So students, let's continue from where we had left off, and we were on beginning of page 117. We had finished up to the end of page 116 of Act 4, Scene 1. So let's continue from Shylock's speech on page 117. I hope all of you have opened your textbooks. Shylock says, "No, none that thou hast wit enough to make." So, you don't have enough intelligence or wisdom to make such prayers which can touch me or my heart and cause me to change my mind. Gratiano says, "Oh, be thou damned, inexecrable dog." So, execrable or inexorable dog, that is one who cannot be insulted or cursed enough. So, nothing we say to curse you or insult you seems to be enough, because you are worse than a dog. And then he says, "And for thy life, let justice be accused. Let the justice, the system of justice of our country, let it be accused for allowing you to stay alive." So for thy life, meaning to say, for allowing you to stay alive, the entire judicial system should be accused, because you don't deserve to live. "Thou almost makest me waver in my faith to hold opinion with Pythagoras." Now, who was Pythagoras? A Greek philosopher. Meaning is given alongside. I am reading from there. All of you please follow. "Who believed that souls of men and animals appeared several times on the earth, assuming sometimes higher and sometimes lower forms of life." So this was known as the theory of transmigration of souls. Pythagoras was not just a mathematician who propounded the famous Pythagoras theorem. He was also a thinker, a philosopher, and he believed in the theory of transmigration of souls. The soul never dies. It only leaves its old and worn out body and goes and gets inside another new life form. So that is how the soul passes on from one body to another. But then sometimes the soul is born as a human being, and sometimes the same soul can be born as an animal. So it depends on what kind of body it finds. But the soul never dies. That is what Pythagoras, the Greek philosopher, believed. And here Gratiano is so agitated, so angry with Shylock, that he says that I never used to, because Gratiano is a Christian, a devout Christian, and he does not believe in the transmigration of souls. But now he says that when I see you, Shylock, I almost believe the theory of Pythagoras that the souls of animals can also sometimes get inside the body of human beings at the time of birth. And so, even though such people are born as humans, they have animal-like qualities. They are cruel and vicious. So, I believe now in the theory of Pythagoras. He says that I almost hold opinion with Pythagoras that the souls of animals sometimes leave the bodies of animals when the animals die, and then find a new body in some human being or a baby about to be born. So infuse themselves into the trunks of men. Trunks refers to the body of men, refers to human beings. Thy currish spirit governed a wolf. Your dog-like spirit. Your soul is like that of a dog. Merciless, vicious. I think you have the soul of a wolf. In your previous birth, you were a wolf. And your next birth, you are Shylock, a so-called human being. But the soul is that of a wolf. It governed a wolf who hanged for human slaughter. Even from the gallows did his fell soul fleet. I think that wolf was hanged to death because it had killed many human beings. So finally it was captured and it was hanged at the gallows where people had gathered to see it being hanged. And right at that moment when the wolf was hanged, the soul of the wolf left its body and got inside your body when you were still inside your mother's womb, just before you were born. So even from the gallows did his fell soul fleet. His soul? Whose soul? The wolf's soul. It left the body of the wolf. And whilst, meaning, and while you, thou means you, layest in thy unhallowed dam, while you were lying inside the womb of your mother, who was not at all a good woman, unhallowed, meaning to say one who is not good. So while you were lying inside the womb of your mother, infused itself in thee. It got inside your body. And then you were born with all those vicious, cruel qualities of a wolf. For thy desires are wolfish, bloody, starved, and ravenous. Because what you desire does not seem to be human at all. Your desires are wolfish, bloody, starved, or hungry like a wolf, like a hungry wolf planning to attack and kill some human being. And you are like a ravenous. So you have all those nasty, negative qualities which a cruel and hungry wolf generally has. It seeks blood, human blood, just as you are seeking human flesh and human blood. You are asking for a pound of human flesh. So isn't that wolfish? Only a wolf, only an animal which is carnivorous, like a wolf, will have such a desire. Shylock. Now see, these people, Antonio's friends, they are hardly able to do anything to stop Shylock. And Shylock knows very well that according to the bond, he will get the penalty from Antonio. No matter how much his friends shout and curse him and insult him, he doesn't mind. He has already been insulted enough by Antonio in the past. And now is the time for his revenge on Antonio. And so, Shylock is not at all perturbed or troubled or disturbed by whatever is being said to him. So Shylock's reply comes immediately after this. Shylock, till thou canst rail the seal from off my bond, thou but offendest thy lungs to speak so loud. You're shouting. You're shouting unnecessarily, Graciano. Your shouting cannot remove that seal of authority on my bond. The seal of authority put there by the notary when I and Antonio had an agreement 3 months ago. The seal was put on the bond and it was authenticated, it was legalized, validated. So now, no matter how much you shout, you cannot erase the marking of that seal from my bond. So why are you offending your lungs by shouting so much? In a way, you are giving a lot of offense or trouble or pain or suffering to your lungs by unnecessarily shouting so much. Shout as much as you want to, but you cannot erase that seal, the seal of validity from my bond. Repair thy wit, good youth, or it will fall to cureless ruin. My advice to you, young man, is that you must repair your wit, your brain, your thinking, your intelligence. Repair it. It needs repair, amendment, correction, change. Stop shouting. Repair your wit, otherwise you will soon go mad. It will be damaged. Your brain will be damaged, and it will reach a limit from where there will be no recovery. It will fall to ruins. You will ruin your intelligence. You will ruin your brain. You are taking too much of pressure on yourself by shouting like that. Soon your brain will malfunction and you will lose your sanity. You will go mad. So stop shouting. That seal of authority on my bond, you cannot remove it. Your shouting will not erase it. So then why are you shouting? Take my advice, young man. Repair your wit. Otherwise it will be ruined completely. You will soon become completely mad. People will call you a lunatic. I stand here for law. I am standing here with the full support of the law. I am asking, demanding things which are very, very legal according to the law. I am not against the law. I am for law. Duke says, this letter from Bellario doth commend the young and learned doctor to our court. Where is he? Now you must remember that in our previous video tutorial, we had discussed how Nerissa, dressed as a lawyer's clerk, had arrived and had given a letter to the Duke of Venice, which was supposed to be a letter from Dr. Bellario, whom the Duke had asked or requested to come and deal with this case between Shylock and Antonio. So the Duke was reading the letter. In the meantime, this conversation was going on between Antonio's friends and Shylock. And now the Duke, as it appears, must have finished reading the letter, and that's why he says, this letter from Dr. Bellario recommends a young lawyer. Learned doctor refers to a learned lawyer. He's a PhD in law. So doctor. A young and learned doctor to our court. Where is he? I would like to see him. Where is the doctor? Where is that learned lawyer? According to this letter from Dr. Bellario, he has recommended somebody to come and deal with this case on his behalf, who is supposed to be a very learned lawyer. Where is he? Nerissa replies, he attendeth here hard by. He is not very far from this courtroom. He is just close to the courtroom, just standing outside. To know your answer, whether you will admit him. He is waiting for your answer, whether you will allow him to come inside the court. Without your permission, sir, he cannot come. That's why he is waiting outside. So we finished with that page. Moving on to page 118. The Duke says, with all my heart, some 3 or 4 of you go give him courteous conduct to this place. Of course I welcome him and allow him. Please, some 3 or 4 of you, referring to the officers, important noblemen or officers of the law who were present in the court. So the Duke says, go and courteously welcome him into the courtroom. Bring him here before me, so that he feels that he is most welcome. Some 3 or 4 of you, please go and escort him, usher him into the court and bring him here. Meanwhile, the court shall hear Bellario's letter. In the meantime, the court, that means the people present in the court, watching and listening to the proceedings of the court, let everyone hear what Dr. Bellario has written in his letter to me. And he gives the letter to the clerk. And the clerk, this is not Nerissa, this is another clerk in the court. His name is not mentioned. He's just referred to as the clerk. He reads the letter loudly so that everyone inside the courtroom can hear what Dr. Bellario had written in his letter. He reads, Your Grace shall understand that at the receipt of your letter, I am very sick. Your Honor, referring to the Duke of Venice, kindly note that at the time when I received your letter to come to Venice and to sort out the problem between Antonio and Shylock, at that very time when I received a note from you, I was not well. Actually, I am suffering from some kind of sickness, and so I am not able to come. But in the instant that your messenger came, in loving visitation was with me a young doctor of Rome. But at that very moment when your messenger came with the note from you requesting me to come to Venice, coincidentally, at that very moment, a friend of mine, a loving doctor refers to lawyer, remember always doctor here refers to lawyer, a very good friend of mine from Rome, he's a learned lawyer from Rome, he was paying me a visit, a friendly visit. He had come to meet me. He had come to see me or meet me. So it was quite a coincidence that when your messenger came with the request letter, at that very moment at my residence, this doctor, this learned lawyer from Rome was also present. He was giving a visit to me and he was with me. His name is Balthazar. Does the name Balthazar ring a bell in your minds? Yes, it's the same name of the messenger of Portia who had carried the request of Portia to Dr. Bellario for a recommendation letter and also for the 2 outfits, one of that of a lawyer and the other of that of the lawyer's clerk. Portia had sent Balthazar, her messenger, to Dr. Bellario, who was Portia's cousin. And now, Dr. Bellario, when he was writing this letter of recommendation for Portia, so that Portia could plead the case in favor of Antonio in Venice, Dr. Bellario couldn't think of any other name, so he used the same name of the messenger of Portia to name Portia as Balthazar, a learned doctor of law from Rome. So Portia's messenger's name now becomes her name as a lawyer. So don't get confused. This Balthazar is the so-called doctor of law from Rome, and in other words, it is Portia herself. So his name is Balthazar. I acquainted him with the cause in controversy between the Jew and Antonio the merchant. So I told him everything about the case, the problem between the Jew and Antonio the merchant. I have explained the entire matter to Dr. Balthazar. We turned over many books together, and so both of us. So why does Dr. Bellario write like this? So that the Duke of Venice feels that yes, somebody really good has come to represent Dr. Bellario in the court. So both of us, that's what Dr. Bellario wrote in the letter, both of us sat together and turned over many books of law, looking for the possible solutions to this case. So we turned over many books together. He is furnished with my opinion. Now this doctor of law, Dr. Balthazar, he and I, we agree upon the same points. So he, in a way, even if I have not come to Venice, he is representing me and he has the same opinion which I would have given in this case. So he is furnished with my opinion, which bettered with his own learning, the greatness whereof I cannot enough commend. And not only does he have my opinion, he himself is such a learned person that he has improved upon that opinion with his own learning of the law. He has his own way of understanding and dealing with cases because he is highly learned. So that opinion has actually been bettered by Dr. Balthazar. And the greatness of his learning, his wisdom is something which I cannot recommend enough, because no matter what I say will be too less in comparison to his greatness. So he is a highly learned person and he has in him such great qualities that he can really do very well in my place if you allow him. So he comes with all this, comes with him at my importunity. Since I am not able to come, he comes in my place with all this learning and also with my opinion about the case. So he comes there to deal with the matter. To fill up your grace's request in my stead. Instead of me to fill up your request, to keep your request, he is coming to Venice. So I hope you will allow him to deal with the matter. I beseech you, I request you, let his lack of years be no impediment to let him lack a reverend estimation. I request you that though he is young, he looks so young, he is very young, don't judge him by his young looks. That should not be the criteria for judging him. He could be young, but he has a lot of wisdom. He is a very intelligent lawyer. So he should be respected. He should be shown reverence by proper estimation or understanding of what he is. For I never knew so young a body with so old a head. Because I have never known a man who is so young in terms of years, but who has so much of maturity or so much of wisdom. So I have never known anyone like him. I leave him to your gracious acceptance. So I leave him to you so that you accept him, Your Honor, whose trial shall better publish his commendation. If you try him out, he will prove himself better than merely my words. Don't just believe me when I say these things. Give him a try and you shall see how good he is. This is what he means in the letter. The Duke says, you hear the learned Bellario, what he writes, and here I take it is the doctor come. So, all of you present in this courtroom, you have just heard the letter of Dr. Bellario, and now I think is the doctor of law, Dr. Balthazar, here he comes now, because Portia enters the courtroom and she is dressed as a lawyer. Enter Portia, dressed like a doctor of laws. Give me your hand. Come you from old Bellario? Give me your hand. Let's shake hands. Did you come from old Dr. Bellario? Portia. I did, my lord. Yes, my lord, I have come from Dr. Bellario. He has sent me. Duke. You are welcome. Take your place. You are welcome to this court. I welcome you. You may take your place. Are you acquainted with the difference that holds this present question in the court? Do you know about this case properly? Do you know what the dispute between these two people are here in this court, which has been brought up here in this court? Are you well acquainted with the point of difference or the dispute between Shylock and Antonio? So this is where we stop for the day. Line 177, end of page 118, and we are in the court scene or the trial scene, Act 4, Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice. Once again on your screen, you can see Portia dressed as a lawyer, reasoning with Shylock with a document in her hand, wearing a cap, and right behind her is the Duke of Venice, and in front of her is Shylock with his right hand, the palm of his right hand raised as he disagrees with Portia. This is the trial scene. So we will continue again from page 118 end, or rather from page 119 in our next video tutorial. Till then, thank you very much.